Welcome to Butterflies of Wisdom, everyone. And today's Tuesday, as you guys probably figured out by now. And I have Kory with me. Kory is not only an author, but he's a motivational speaker. And so I'm going to Kory take it away to explain more about what he does and how he got into it.
Okay, yeah, well, I do, like I said, I'm a motivational speaker. I'm also a musician, and I'm also a coach. And how I got into and I actually combine all three together because my lifelong work has always been in the music industry. I've been a performer, composer, songwriter, and whatnot. Now, about a couple of years ago, I wrote my first book called Quiet Determination, Unlocking the Gates to Unlimited Success. But I'm now in the process of revising that, and I've changed the title. It's called Quiet Determination, 15 Ways to Break the Barriers of Your Untapped Success. And the reason I wrote that book, actually, the book's I've been carrying this book around with me for the last 15 or so years, and I didn't even know it. And I forget how many years ago it was. Now, it must have been maybe 15 years ago. I was getting ready to do a concert, just a small do-it-yourself concert. You just rent the venue, and you have to go down and set it up again yourself, right? So what I had done, I had gone down to the venue, and I spent the whole day fixing it, because it was just bare walls. I had taken down with the stage curtains and lights and all the tools and stuff you have. And I was doing it all myself. My band was coming later, right? So I spent all day down there, went down to the venue, up and down the ladder, hanging lights, hanging curtains, so on and so forth. Waiting for the piano to come in. I had a piano coming in, had to be tuned and set up. So anyway, and this was nothing new to me. I mean, I've done this many times, getting ready for concerts. And then, about a week after the concert, the concert this is after the concert. A week after, I got a note from the concierge, from the custodian of the venue. It was written on a little yellow 3x3 post-it note. And little did I know that he was watching me do this the whole time. And I was just reading the note. It says, "Dear Kory, I've admired your persistent, quiet determination and attention to details. It's more than talent. It's a mature determination. I could do well to apply the same to my life. And God bless all of your efforts." Now, this blew me away. This guy's a custodian, and I'm doing something, he's watching, and I'm doing something that, it's not over the ordinary, but I must have been so intense. Like he said, I was persistent. I was just going about my work quietly and determinedly, and I had things to get done. And he saw that. And he obviously saw that was lacking in his own life, because he liked to apply the same to his own life. He saw that if I applied that to my everyday life, it'll make me, it'll bring him some success and satisfaction and some sense of completion, whatever. But it was a quality that he wanted to have. And I really didn't know what that meant, this letter. So I just put it aside. But I knew it was for something. I put it aside inside a book on my bookcase. And then, literally 10 years later, I got involved with a guy named Robert Allen, and he said everybody has a book on him. And I had the material for my book. And the purpose of this book was to find out what did he mean by quiet determination. And I actually started writing, and what it turned out to be, and the long and the short of it was, what I learned, the life lessons that I learned while taking piano lessons as a kid, as a teenager, as a young adult, the things that I had learned, like in music, I had subconsciously applied to my whole life, and that's what had brought me a lot of success. Now, what am I talking about? I'm talking about things like accountability. When I took the piano lessons, my mom said, "You're having piano lessons." There was no argument, right? She said, "You're going to practice every day, and you're going to practice at a certain time, and this time it was 5 o'clock, and you're going to practice for a certain length of time." She made me accountable. I had to practice every day at 5 o'clock for 30 minutes. And it was, I tell you right now, it was not enjoyable. It was torture. Every 5 minutes I called out, "5 minutes up yet?" You know? No, it's not. Because my mom, I was in the living room practicing, and it was kitty corner to the kitchen, so she was smart, right? She made me practice while she was preparing dinner.
Yeah.
You things at once. So she made me, I learned accountability, that you got to do things even though you don't like it. And so you apply that to everyday life. Your listeners may know Tom Landry. He was the coach of the Dallas Cowboys Foot Club years ago. And I think they had something like 27 championship seasons. And 7 of those seasons they won a Super Bowl. And he said the job of a coach is to make grown men do what they don't want to do so that they can achieve what they always wanted to be. So there you have it. Even in every facet of life, you have to do things that you don't want to do, but you have to do them if you want to be successful. And so I went through and I wrote this book, and I learned, and I just sort of went chapter by chapter, subject by subject, all the things like organizing my time, okay? Something called how to practice properly. Because if you don't organize your time properly, you will only get a quarter of things that you planned. If you organize your plan properly, you'll probably get 75 to 80% of your things if you don't plan ahead. So I learned so many practical things, and I'm supposed to have music lessons, okay? And I, even though I did well in the music, and the real lessons I learned were life lessons. So I could summarize the book by saying successful in music, successful in life. It's like, there's an old saying, kindergarten teachers have that. I've seen it at kindergarten teachers' doors. All I needed to learn about life, I learned in kindergarten. Because that's how you get your direction set straight. You get you learn, as the sapling is bent, so grows the tree. And that's what happened. So anyways, moving on about the book, I said, now I can talk. I have something to talk about as far as keynotes. I have so many subjects which I can address as far as being an inspirational speaker. So I didn't want to leave my music behind. So what I'm doing now is in my talks, during the talks, keynote talks, there's basically one story strung together after because people love to hear stories, right? That's a keynote inspirational talk, is like stories. So I punctuate the emotion of each story. It's only 2 or 3 in a talk, with a song that I've made that captures the emotion of that particular story. Because, when in 10 years from now, when you talk about a conference, you don't remember what was said at the conference. You remember how you felt at that conference or a seminar or talk. Someone told me, I felt so wonderful. It's the emotion you remember. You may not remember the facts. Facts are soon forgotten. So this music helps drive home the emotions that I'm talking about. And then when I get to the coaching part, that's a natural outgrowth because I've got so many people have dreams, right? Everybody has dreams, and relative dreams, relatively large, small, whatever, but how many people act on them? How many people think, well, I can, but what about this? Oh, I can't because I'm not ready. I'll do this when and whether. So they keep, the more they think about their dreams, the more space they put in between themselves and their dreams. And they keep worrying so much, how's it going to happen? How's it going to happen? And they do it so much, so what happens in the end? The dream just lays by the side and dies. And so many people have dreams, but they have this fear of carrying them through. They'll find 100,000 excuses. Why? Oh, I don't have enough time, haven't got the money, whatever it is. So that's part of also my talks for as a coaching is coaching people, helping them achieve their dreams. Now, it's not a situation. A coach is actually, in my book, I do talk about coaching with all my music teachers, all my piano teachers that I've had in the Conservative University. They were actually coaches, okay? A coach is really a teacher, and a teacher is really a coach. The two are together, right? And we all need coaching, or even a mentor. And I call them talent whisperers. We all have the ability. We all have, and it doesn't matter how much ability you think you have or you don't have. Because some people think they have a whole lot of talent, really don't have that much. And people who don't think they have much talent, they'd be surprised of, it's like still waters run deep. And often people can see more of you than what you can see, okay? And they can all actually spy the ability, the potential that you have, better than you can do it yourself. And a good coach will help you mine that, okay, and show you, and won't do it for you. The whole thing about my book is the mindset. It's developing a mindset. It's not a thing where you put one foot here when and the other foot there and do 50 push-ups a day and you'll be strong, right? It's not that, but you have to develop a mindset that will want to do this, okay? And it's developing of the mindset that I talk about in my book. It's a mindset that you have to develop to be successful. There's no magic formula of, putting, you run your tooth under the pillow and next day there's a silver dollar or something. You have to do the work. And a coach will take you down that road and show you, or actually make you do it. And that's one part of my book. It doesn't matter. You know why professional athletes have coaches? And it doesn't matter if you're a professional football player, soccer player, a professional tennis player. It doesn't matter. They all have coaches. Why? Well, and we think that they're great players, right? And they are great players, but they probably only play maybe at 60 or 50% of their true ability. It's the coach that takes them down, that really makes them work and gets all that they can out of that, all that's lying in there. Go and look for the mother lode. Okay, that's what a good coach is going to do. A coach, I'm sure many people are there. You listen to many people. I was just wondering how many people have gone out and bought a how-to book, or registered in a how-to course, or a how-to seminar, and they've gone to it, and they spent. It could be $10, $1,000, $50,000, $100,000. Okay, and what do they do when they finish this course? They go look for another one. For some reason, they think that the more courses they take, the easier they're going to get to their goal. What they don't do is they bought the book and they read the book once. You may have to read the book 20 or 30 times. You have to get whatever the medium is, be it a seminar or a course. You have to really milk it for all it's worth and actually do what the teachers or what the coach says. You actually have to go out and exploit it. Just don't do it once. Okay, I've done it. Okay, now where's my success? And I think in my book I write that a lot of people do that, and they spend. I've seen people raise their hand. I was at a seminar, and the seminar leaders, how many people have spent $25,000 on self-help seminars and courses? And many hands, half the room went up. How many people spent $50,000? And then about a quarter of the room. How many people spend over $100,000? Or 2 or 3 people had their hands up. These are the people who are throwing money, thinking they can buy success with money. you have to have the mindset to work the knowledge that's been shown to you. And so that's what I do in my coaching. So I've got it all tied together. So it's basically what I am. And I'm still performing as well. That's still fun.
Yeah. Well, you sound like you're doing it all in a one-man show, in keynote speaking and musical performances to get the audience engaged. And I definitely agree with you. You have to do what people say, even if you don't like it. I am sending myself back to journalism school, as you guys know, and it's killing me. It's actually killing me. And I'm doing it even though I don't like the one aspect of my classes. I'm doing it. The other one is perfectly fine, but I'm still doing it because I really, really want this degree. And so the amount of money we spend on self-help and sending ourselves back to school, we've got to be committed to these things, and that's what Kory was saying. You either commit to a project and organize to commit to it, or don't do it at all.
Yeah. And you know what I say, Lynn, is if you're having trouble, hire somebody or get somebody to make you do it. You know? Could be a friend, a family member, and you have to give them carte blanche permission to whip my butt when I drop the ball. And I can't give you any look back. So, that's another, because not everybody has the same fortitude, the same determination, and there's nothing wrong. Like I say, professional athletes, they all have coaches who really make them do things, who make them accountable. And there's nothing, and I say there's nothing wrong with that, and I think that's a missing link in a lot of people's struggle for success. Go and get yourself a mentor, a coach, someone who you give carte blanche permission to take you around and make you do it.
Yeah. I have a lot of accountability buddies in my life, and I have some who I don't even know, but that's because I told people I'm going to do this. I am putting other projects aside for the next 2 years as I do this, but I'm still writing books. I'm still doing this podcast, but it may slow down. And I agree with you, Kory, when you commit to something, don't do it half-assed. Do not do it half-assed. It doesn't help.
Yes. And I would say on that too, you may say, well, I don't think I have the ability. And everybody has potential, no matter what your perceived or real ability is, or your actual ability is. Okay. Whatever your ability, let's say you have a scale from 1 to 10 or 1 to 100. Everybody has certain, let's say we're going to have your ability to run fast from 1 to 100. It could fit from anywhere from 1 to 100. But your ability may only be 20, but you're going to make sure you attain that 20, okay? Yeah. You got to make sure you can't settle for 10, can't settle for 5. And on the other hand, if you have the ability to do 80 and you're only giving me 50, that's not good enough. You've got to do all of your abilities to get to the 80. So there's a relative plane there. So it doesn't matter what the skill or what the situation is. We all have potential. And it's the key word is your maximum potential. And we were all made different. We all have different skills and abilities in different areas, and that's how it's supposed to be. Okay? But whatever you're going to tackle, make sure you're emptying the whole glass.
Yep. I agree with that, and this is the pep talk I actually need as I'm coming to a close with one of my final projects for school. I'm thinking, oh my God, how am I going to do this inch by inch, step by step, and just have accountability buddies? I mean, I'll have accountability buddies listening to this, and right now we're leaving a legacy, but you guys have, and Kory included, have been on this incredible journey of me becoming a journalist.
That's terrific. You see, you're just plodding along there, and you've got your goal in sight, and the old saying, keeping your eye on the sparrow type of thing. This is where I'm going.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Now, where can people find you, and where can people find your books? And then, before I let you go, I'm going to let you ask me a couple questions that you've been curious about. But first, I'm going to let you say your website and where people can find your books.
Well, the book's on Amazon.com. Just type in Quiet Determination, and then the rest will it'll come up under my old title, Quiet Determination, Unlocking the Gates to Unlimited Success. The revised edition will be coming out next year. It'll be, again, Quiet Determination, 15 ways to break the barriers of your untapped success. And my website's the same as my name, Kory Livingstone. That's Kory, Livingstone, just like it sounds, E at the end. So you can go there, you get my website, you can get the rest of the story.
Okay. And do you have any questions for me?
I was just wondering how you got started in your podcast, and what was the inspiration behind it.
Well, I wrote a book. I wrote the book at age 23, and I wrote that book, I kind of win, as a form of grief therapy, and that's how I got started in this podcasting field. And last night, I just got myself into Spotify, of all things. So now my podcast is in Spotify. So if you guys find me on Spotify, welcome to this crazy Butterflies of Wisdom, because, yeah, it's been a crazy ride. And throughout this journey, I decided to go back to journalism school, as I said earlier. So that's how I got started in podcasting.
Good. And how many years has it been going, your blog, your podcast?
It's been going, my podcast, it's been going, and that's okay, you call it a blog. People don't know what a podcast is, basically. They call it a blog, they call it something. As long as it's some sort of content, I don't like what you call it, Kory. And then it's been going in various formats for 4 years.
Oh, good.
So yeah. So that's.
So I'm just talking about your book again. How would you summarize your book in a sentence about and what it's about? How would you encapsulate it?
Well, it's about me living with cerebral palsy. It's about the true trials and tribulations about me living with cerebral palsy. Now, granted, I wrote that when I was 23. I basically wrote that in the fog, and grief after losing my mom. And so now I am working on another book. I'm actually working on other books, and they all have to do with cerebral palsy. And
I'm just curious, what was the take? Is it how you overcome or live with the difficulties, or is it information to tell other people about cerebral palsy, or what's the...
It's a little bit of both. It's information and it's my story, from my viewpoint of how I live with cerebral palsy.
And what's your biggest challenge as far as living with cerebral palsy?
My biggest challenge: bad back, bad knees. That's my biggest challenge. Bad back.
Well, I've got bad knees, so.
Bad knees and bad back, and scoliosis to boot. And I need to write a book on scoliosis and how to deal with that, because it's you'll find out more, and I come and win, you guys. But that's my biggest challenge. Bad knees, bad back is my biggest challenge.
Right. Well, that's terrific, then. Thank you very much.
Well, you're welcome. No, my life is open book, and people know that. And so, yeah. And so, Kory, I would like to thank you for coming on this podcast, and I appreciate your time, and I appreciate everyone's time today. And this podcast has been sponsored by Grace by Grit. Grace by Grit is clothing line out of California, and then you can find more information about that in the show notes. They have offered a 20% off code when you type in the code EXO Butterflies, and we'll just keep hugging along. So you guys, I would like to again thank you guys for all your support, and we'll catch you guys later. Bye, you guys.
I know.